Fishes!
Okay, cool. Eben, welcome.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on to
Cool.
do this. Very unnatural. Out of your little dark dungeon
Yes,
from
out
working
of-
normally.
Out of the Batcave.
Yeah. So, how did you get into the industry? You from when I first heard of you, it was with all your music. You know, that was the first time that I heard a lot of music, and I was like, "Fuck, this guy's really cool." And it was only later on that I realized that you were actually doing stuff for like TV and film. And
Yeah. So I actually, I studied it after. Did editing.
actually, I didn't know that, dude.
Did editing, yeah. So we studied editing there. I did my first year at City Varsity. And then after, it's like the film school in OBS, they just opened. So I went straight into second year, and it was super fresh. Like the lecturer wasn't like familiar with Final Cut, I think. So we would show him Final Cut, and then he'll show us Premiere, and then we started this club called the Wheelchair Club, and we would bribe the security guard to get into the premises and make our own edits.
Okay.
And we'll sit there till 3-4 in the morning.
Yeah. So
and then we called
what
it
year was that? What?
2003, I think.
So is that when after started out then?
Yes, yeah. And then we called it the Wheelchair Club because there was a wheelchair by the edit studio. So then we got fucking pros on that thing, wheeling down the alleyway and
That's
missioning.
one random what do we call it? What's the right word? It's the one random thing that I'm really good at, because my cousin years ago, he was in a wheelchair. So when we used to sit and watch films, he would sit on the couch, and then I would mess around in his wheelchair. So I've got this hidden talent where I can do wheelies and everything, and keep the balance completely still for years. That I just messed around in this wheelchair. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, because you get used to it. So you could actually sit and edit while it's balanced.
And it's because it's what forward means. No, forward means back. You know, when you lift it up, or you try and keep it.
But there's this sweet spot,
Yeah.
But anyway, So started there, and then I got headhunted in third year to do some work for Vegas Visual. Vegas Visual. It's they don't exist anymore.
Okay.
And then from there I went to Going Nowhere Slowly. It was the traveling show.
Okay.
And then I started working for Priest, which was
But were you doing your music at this time though?
I was doing it for fun,
Yeah.
and I was doing more experimental shit. I don't know, from a young age, I would take my parents' old vinyl and record it and try and manipulate it in Fruity Loops, and then I got Reason and record from MK, old Afrikaans TV shows and mix it up. So I always just did it for fun. I never thought anything would happen from it. And then I was at Priest, and then my laptop got stolen with all my music, and it was out of my room, through the window, and then I was fuck, I can't, because it was really deep emotional music, so it was I always made it between 2 and 6 in the morning, and it was always and it wasn't aggressive, it was quite morbid, and I was I can't fucking recreate the shit, I can't do it again.
I think that must be the worst. It's just the same with script writing or anything, you lose that shit, and you're have you got the energy and the brains to do it all over again?
It's easier to start do something new rather than try and recreate something that you've done. That's what I find.
But it's just fucking pain.
Yeah.
Once you've done the work already,
So then and then I decided, fuck, I just want to make fun music now, just fun, rock and roll kind of, but dance music.
Yeah.
And then started doing that. And
But how did that start to take off?
That started taking off from a blog in Australia. I posted, blogs were still a thing. Okay. So I posted it on Australian blog, and then I think a German blog called Oh My God, It's Techno Music. and then like a German booker and an Australian booker heard it, and they liked the music, and then they booked me for a tour.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
So how did you feel at that time when you got that
I was
opportunity?
like, fucking, dude, I was like, the most I've traveled was like for an edit in Joburg, you know? Like, I was just like, and I come from Belleville, so I was like conservative Afrikaans family, like never traveled, never, like, I think we went to,
The Checkers one time.
fuck, no, man, that fucking island everyone goes to, Mauritius. I think we went to Mauritius once, you know.
Yeah.
So then that was pretty gnarly, and it was weird because it's like, you know, free drinks and like the not the first tour so much, but the second tour, like, and it was like straight after each other. And then
So did you have to make loads of content then because you knew you were going to do this thing?
I
Or,
was
like, how-
doing the tunes anyway, so I had it, you
had
know.
content, yeah.
And it was like fuck, it was like really punk rock. It was like, think of an idea, write the track, invite Tamsin over. She like sings or screams or raps over it, and then I like do. I don't even mix it. I just like make it as loud as I can, and then I upload it that evening. So I'll make a track, upload it the evening. So there was like plenty of content going around, you know, and the blog space was it's very different from now. Like people went, because there was no Spotify, you know? So people went to blogs to get music. So it was like pretty, like a lot of content out there. And then by the second tour, like I was still nobody in South Africa. Like no one knew about me.
But what about that first show? Like when you went there, like, what was that like first show like?
Like it was intimate, like 250 people, but they were like moshing, and I was stage diving, and it was like gnarly, you know.
Yeah. But you must have felt like a rock star back then doing that.
I think I must say by the second tour I felt like a rock star when they started like screaming lyrics back at me of my tracks,
amazing, yeah.
you know. And I kind of always played my own stuff, so it wasn't so much a DJ set, it was almost like a live set. Yeah, and then like I took Adrian with on the third tour, and Adrian Lau, and he did all the videography, and then I edited that. So first time again I used my editing, because I had to quit Priest on my third tour, because then I already had 2 more tours lined up, and I couldn't take any more time off, so I had to choose between music or editing. And then like I was like, I'm young enough, I'm traveling, and I love traveling, I'm meeting cool people, so I'm just gonna kind of go for it, you know. No idea what's gonna happen, but I'm just gonna do it. So then that's when I like completely quit editing, was around 2010, end of 2010, and went full-time producer DJ, and then did that till about 2016, and then it was like the whole scene changed. It's almost like punk music. You don't see a lot of punk like shows happening.
The music scene has changed, especially in South Africa, you know, and I'm sure it's the same in Joburg. But you know, for me being from, you know, staying in Cape Town, it was so different. Like 10 years ago, you know, completely, like before the live show venues and everything. Because a lot of people you would say, oh, you know, COVID like killed all the music, and I was like, dude, it was long before that. It was long before that, when places started to shut down and less live shows and stuff like that.
And the energy just kind of dropped. I think it was like the more popular Instagram became, the less popular like the live like aggressive scene got, because it's not pretty. It's you know, you're getting drunk, you're getting like moshing and stage diving, and it's like it's gritty, and it doesn't look good on Instagram. So the more Instagram became popular, the more you saw people like the music will still be kind of driving, but it's like dudes with their beers in their hands, like swaying, you know. It's not like,
but I think I know it's not the same, but I still think, you know, the live DJs and music is still bigger now than bands playing. You know, I think more people want to hear a
I
DJ.
think it's kind of going, yeah, it went full circle, and I think like live bands now have more of an appeal. I think, I don't know,
Okay.
just because I think it's kind of done that
Yeah,
circle.
yeah.
Like festivals, people love it, but that's more like the theatrics of it,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
crazy, like fireworks and crazy laser shows and like I mean, it's like 5 stories high, those screens.
Yeah, no.
So it's really like fucks with your head. And I think that's kind of what makes that popular. But for like more intimate shows, I think people are going back to like the band scene and enjoying like.
But there's not that many venues when you think about it in Cape Town. I mean,
No, not here.
yeah,
No.
there's not that many venues compared to what there used to be. Dude, there used to be like 15, at least 15 venues that everybody used to go to.
Yeah. I mean, it's I guess it's the same in other industries. You know, like in film. For me, I feel it's the same in art. Like it as soon as like an art form becomes more about money, so like more capitalist and less about art, it's bound to kind of lose its spirit.
Yeah.
Because now it's every artist has like a manager and like a consultant and like PR and marketing, and like if you look at any like masterclass or whatever about being a producer, it's like every single one says like 80% is like marketing and social media.
Yeah.
And it's like I was never into that. Like that's not why I got into music.
But it's very much like film as well as people creating music now. I mean, with the whole digital age, it's so much easier to make music now, and it's so much easier to make films now, just content, you know, whether it's short films or whatever. But I mean, back in the day, it was easy to watch a lot of movies and, you know, watch basically what's out. And then now we're just flooded with, a lot of bad movies or a lot of bad music. And it's just because there's more people that can just sit in their bedroom and just
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's so many platforms now that I think it's probably the best time, like, in history to be a content creator, like a filmmaker, because there's so many platforms where you can release it. But it's just like places like Cannes where it was, it was the end prize. Like, if you can get your movie to Cannes, you've made it. Like, the sales at Cannes has dropped by like 60%, over like 5 years. It's like people are not interested in artistry. Like, there's good films there, otherwise it wouldn't get into Cannes, but they're not getting bought. The obvious ones are getting bought with like big name actors.
Yeah. But this is what I always say about Cannes. You know, there's a lot of movies from different countries that might go to Cannes, and that's a big achievement. But it doesn't mean it's going to get great distribution. It doesn't mean it's going to travel the world. But the height of that success of that movie is Cannes. Yeah. And that's it. So if you got a foreign language movie and it goes to Cannes, it's a great achievement. But it doesn't mean it's going to get all the sales like around the world.
Yeah. And I think it used to.
Yeah. It's changed a lot.
So that's changed a lot. Like it's a. Like,
I mean, the big deals are always made. Like on the yachts and the boats and all that. With all the big.
I think it's just lawyers. I think it's like producers and distributors had like really good people on the team that's super talented in spotting good directors and good films that like your average Joe won't pick it up, but they can see this is gonna do well.
Yeah.
And now it's more just lawyers looking at numbers like data, like Netflix. It's like. Like you look at the films, like I must say, like the series on Netflix is pretty good. I think the algorithm nailed it,
Yeah.
But the films is like it's so like there's no substance.
I struggle to find like good stuff on Netflix. Once you've watched basically everything, you're just waiting for content, and you're like, okay, I'll watch this because there's nothing else to watch. And I find that a lot with Netflix and certain things that I'm looking for, and that's why sometimes I just go back to old films that I've seen like many times.
Yeah,
Like I know it's good, it's brilliant. I'll watch it again. And sometimes I'll press play and I'll start watching a film, and then I'm like 5-10 minutes in, and I'm like, oh, this is shit. I can't watch it, and then I'll just like switch.
No,
I'll just
I
switch
must
on.
say the series game is pretty strong.
Well, that's
dude.
the thing.
Like,
Series is like almost took over like film. Because
Yes,
there's better content in a TV series than a lot of films now. It's only every now and then where you go, fuck, that was a good film.
Yeah.
It's only every now and then that happens, and it's starting to happen less and less. And that's why people go, oh, you got to watch this series, or you got to watch this series, and then you watch it and you're like, fuck, that's good. And there's time for like character development and all this. And then obviously with some of the films, it's just everything's jam packed into something, and it doesn't always. It doesn't always.
But I mean, like film wise, I must say like the A24 distribution. Like,
They're great.
Their films, like I don't know, I can't find like bad ones. I love all of them, even the ones that like bombed commercially, like that. Was it Under the Silver Lining? I think it was called Under the Silver Lining. It's the same guy who did It Follows.
It Follows is great. Yeah.
And it was like his next film, and it's so good.
Yeah. But
and
they
it's
pick
like
the
no one
content
knows
well.
about it, and it's like one of the best films I've seen. Like I love it so much, and like that gives me hope that there's like distribution out there with like a very like you could see like they have a very certain taste that they like. But even their series Beef also has like,
and that's great.
It feels like a A24.
Production. But even with Everything Everywhere All at Once, I mean, for that to go to the Oscars for that type of film and to pick up those awards for that type of film, it's great because it's crazy and it's wacky and it's got a lot of heart and all the characters and story and message. It's great, and it's surprising that a film like that would go so far, which leaves other filmmakers to think, oh, we can make these crazy films, and they're starting to notice and to celebrate these films and award these films without, you wouldn't think, 5 years ago they would never even think about nominating like a movie like that.
Yeah. So just circling back to 2016, because that's when I kind of decided like I sat in the studio and I was trying to make a track, and like the thought kept popping in like, well, what will work? What will people like? And then that's the moment I said I'm gonna stop now. Because I'm not doing it for me. And then I just sent out one email saying, hey, I'm kind of looking for work in film. And then then I was busy for 6 years. Took like a month and a half off, and now I'm busy again. So it was crazy. It all started with just like one email burst, and then like the first thing I did was like started like cutting stuff with the Antwoord. Like they were doing a docu and like music videos and stuff, and then that's how I kind of just started editing again. And then because of the producer of that, he got me onto that Sia documentary, and then just word of mouth with the music stuff for ads and for for film and working with you.
When I heard about you, so I obviously heard your music, and every time I heard your music, I was like, just by listening to your music, I'm like, oh, I bet you this guy would be amazing at like sound design and music. I really want to do that project where I can work with you. And at that time, I was mainly making music videos, so I didn't have a fucking say in any of the sound or anything like that. It was all obviously already recorded. But I always wanted to work with you. And then it was only years later, I still wanted to work with you. And then there was that, I mentioned it the other day to you, there was that dance, contemporary dance video with Louise and Oscar. And, I shot that dance piece on the bridge. And then you ended up doing the music, and because you went by your name and not Haezer, I still didn't know that I worked with you, and I was like, "Fuck, I really want to work with this guy." And you already did. We already kind of worked together without knowing. And then obviously years later, when I was getting a bit fed up with the music videos and just wanted to do my own thing and not have like a record label or a manager or anything tell me, you know, what I can do and what not to do. And that's why, you know, I wanted to start those experimental films. And I came to you with the Fried Barry original short, which was like only 3 minutes long. And and then you know when we did that, and you know we sat there and spoke, and then there was obviously many other experimentals after that, which Fried Barry, I think it was.
Didn't we do that boxing one before Fried Barry?
Was it? No, it couldn't have been. No, I don't think so.
Was it after?
Yeah, it might have been.
You released it after, but
no. You see, well, that's the thing. So I've never released any of the experimentals apart from Fried Barry the short, but I've sent them all to festivals.
Okay.
So, and that's some of that work that I did with you. Some of my favorite work that I've done, and I still haven't released it. So I wanted to try like release it as a collection or in an exhibition, because the music that you did for that, and that's why it's such a pleasure working with you, because it's. You know, we would sit there, we chat about stuff, and then it just like organically happens. And then I would say to you, which you'd always laugh at, you know, I'd say to you, you know, I want like, I would want more, like more sounds or more this or more crazy, or I'd try like make a sound. I'd be like, you know, something like or whatever, and you'd be like, you look at me as if you're going like, what the fuck are you talking about? But then you would get it, and you'd be like, what's something like this? And I'd be like, exactly like that. That's amazing. And that's why I just think my visuals and your sound just goes to. You know, it just goes together like so well, and that's, you know, it's always been fun. And then, you know, since I started working with you, I'm just always like, no, I just like nobody else can touch it. Like I just want Haezer to do, you know, that's just sound design and music, because even, you know, eventually we shot Fried Barry the feature, and you did such an amazing job on that movie, and I knew it was like, you know, we spoke about the world and all this, and I let you run with it, but it was also. For me, for making a film, it was such a big, you know, I always mention like Vangelis and like Blade Runner. You know, you take Vangelis away, Blade Runner wouldn't have that feel, and it would be a completely different movie. And I knew that this music is a big thing about Fried Barry, and the great thing about it, you know, once you did this amazing job, you know, when it went out there, a lot of the people just constantly mentioned like the music. They were like, "Oh, the music is so sick." You know, the end track, or you know, the bit in the club or whatever, and it's like everybody complimented that like constantly in every like festival that we went to, and the people that watched it, you know, and that's why we have the I don't know where's the record? That's cool. So we had the we got the vinyl of the Barry soundtrack, which is pretty cool.
It's dope. Cool. It's dope. Yeah, I mean it's rare, and it's like. It's like finding your partner, like finding your wife or husband is like finding director that's like got the same taste, and it's like on the same. That's what you just got it. Like plane.
I mean, there was some of those scenes we sit there and we're like, oh, you know, we just need like a 1 minute, 2 minute track, and we would sit there, mess around for like 15 minutes, and then you come out with this like an amazing thing in 15 minutes. You know, and that's what's fun. It's just like experimenting
But that's why you see if you go on IMDb and you look at like I look at my favorite composers, and then I look at the films, and it's like same director.
Exactly.
You know, because like it's hard. Like music and editing, those two things, you'll see that crew. Never changes. It's like that director will use the same editor and the same composer, because it's like when you find someone that like gets you, that's like that's you can't like train that or learn that or exactly. Like
that's why every time I make a film or something, I'm like, Steve's editing and Haezer has to do the music. like every time it's like those two guys, they're the must. You know, that's my like wish list. They're the must. If you want me and you want my style and you want what I do best, then I have to have those two guys on. Or it's not the same.
You know? Well, it's like a mutual thing.
And then sorry, just give me and then you know, like music films that you like grew up on, was, you know, like what got you into like filmmaking, you know, because you said you like started editing first and stuff, but even like before that, what was those movies that you grew up on that you were like, this is like a big part of my childhood, or this is the film that pushed you into like film?
The film that pushed me into film was Lost Highway by David Lynch.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I watched a shitload of horror. Like,
Yeah.
I was like obsessed with horror as a kid, and then I slowly started getting more into like indie films and art house films, and then I realized that what I liked about a film was like how the story was being told and put together, and like changes your perspective on a character, like just the way you show them. And you don't do that with camera work. You do that in the edit. And that's what like made me wanna do editing.
But for me, like, you know, Lynch or David Cronenberg or, you know, Sam Raimi or, you know, The Evil Dead and Brain Dead and all that stuff. It's like, you know, all that like gore, and like I used to love that. Like, you know, as a kid growing up, it was always you know, it's like getting the first like Nightmare on Elm Street, and you know you get it on the VHS and you watch it. And it'd be like such a big thing when
I remember like Candyman. Fuck, freaked me out as a kid, you know, but like in a good way. Like I loved it. And then like musically, there was like this TV show called The Hitchhiker.
Okay.
And like the theme song, like fuck, gave me nightmares. And then the other day I listened to it, and it's like fucking cheesy. It's like terrible. It's like it's like for keyboard music. Yeah. But when I was a kid, that got to me, you know. Yeah.
I remember like you said, it was you know, there was those films that scared you, but you weren't scared, but you were like, oh, this is amazing. You couldn't stop watching it. So it was, for me, it was like Aliens.
Yeah.
You know, you watch that and it's like scary, but it was like so fucking like done so fucking well.
Yeah.
And then there was that movie, I think Ridley Scott directed it. It was a Legend with Tom Cruise, like super fucking young.
Yes.
And Tim Curry played the devil, and he had these like massive horns on. And I remember as a kid that like scared the shit out of me, and it was just like, because it's so funny when you remember like what Tim Curry looks like, and then in that he's like, you know, he's got these fucking hooves, and he's got these,
he looks
and he just looks like this bodybuilder in it. He's got this like fucking chest, and he's all red, and you know, all the prosthetics, and I just remember that like scared the shit out of me, but I would still want to watch it. You know?
No, it had a like physical like I would feel it physically when I watch a film that's like really good, like City of Lost Children.
Yeah.
Like it would like I almost felt like I had a fever watching it for the first time.
Yeah. What about Tetsuo? I'm sure you'd like that if you haven't seen it.
Tetsuo.
So was that Japanese? I'm pretty sure it's Japanese. It was that Japanese black and white, and it was like a lot of stop motion, where it was all this like metal like growing out of these people, and it was like,
oh shit,
like the guy got a cut, and then like all these pipes starts coming out. But if you haven't seen it, you probably haven't. You probably might have come across it.
It sounds amazing.
But check that out. Like Tetsuo, I think there's 2 of them, but it's very experimental, like super experimental, black and white. But the way they did all the pipes and junk and all it's like growing out of people's skin and stuff, like it's amazing. Like if you check the trailer out, you'll definitely love it, and the sound design is amazing.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like with like my favorite horror films are Japanese horror, where you never see the monster, there's no gore, and it scares the living shit out of you just with like sound and music.
Yeah,
and like obviously beautiful cinematography and like, but like that shit for me is the top tier of horror. It's like when you can freak me out with a lady in a black dress, just walking towards the camera.
They were always great. You know, the Japanese one was fucking amazing at doing the horror, but they were also amazing. Like I was saying earlier, it was also amazing at doing like the Jackie Chan movie. You know, the Chinese doing the Jackie Chan movies and the martial arts. So like with the Chinese cinema, when you had like John Woo, directing and Better Tomorrow and all those films like that. Dude, those action sequences and gun shootouts, and like Hard Boiled and stuff like that, like it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that comes close to that now is like John Wick. But you know what I mean? It was
Yes,
just like all the shootout scenes and all the squibs and stuff like that and explosions. It's all real. It's all in camera.
Yeah,
it's not like now we're like, okay, we'll add the sparks.
And
we'll add
Old
this.
Boy, isn't that?
I think that's Korean.
Korean.
Isn't that Korean? Yeah, that's Korean.
Yeah, so like Old Boy, like the Vengeance films, was also like so.
Dude, Old Boy is
so
still like
well
fucking
done.
brilliant. It's such a twisted fucking story, but it's because obviously they had the American remake, which is nowhere
Terrible, yeah,
terrible,
but
nowhere
the,
near
the
nowhere
original
near
was
as
like
good.
it's just so cinematic because like I'm not drawn towards like ultra violence and gore, but it's like when it's just like when it's done well.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I miss all those, those type of films. Growing up watching all those like Jackie Chan films and the martial art films. It's like they were great, man. They were, at that time.
I wanted to be a ninja as a kid, man. Yeah, I fucking loved the.
You failed.
I failed fucking hard. I worked with the ninja.
Yeah. So so what made you want to do music for films?
Well, I guess like I always had like a cinematic feel to my music, and it was always kind of on my mind to try it. The only thing that held me back was like I have no musical training. I do everything by ear. I can't read music. I can't.
Oh really?
I can't play you a classical piece on the piano. So it's almost like I mean, even today, I still like. I had a
Do
film.
you play any instruments?
No,
Nothing. Dude, I don't know. I've had 2 guitars in my life. I thought to myself, if I get a guitar, I'll learn to fucking play.
Yeah.
So I got it for my birthday. Didn't learn to play. Ended up selling it. Second time, I won it in a competition. I thought I'll definitely start learning. And the time and energy that goes into that is just, it's like learning another language. And I'm like, I've got my directing, I've got my acting. That's where my energy is.
Yeah, I mean, like we have a piano at the house that I will just free jam on.
Yeah.
But honestly, I like the till now. Like I worked on a movie where the director came in, and I hate it when it's like a director I don't know comes in or like kind of he like briefed me on the spot, and it's like like you see that like the scenes with Angelo Badalamenti and David Lynch is like, okay, now she's walking through the forest, and he's like, dun, 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 dun. And now this guy, I think in his head thinks this is not gonna happen, And I'm like, bro, and he walks in, and there's stickers all over my keyboard, and the stickers is to show me like the key, the notes that like I kind of wrote the song in, so that I now know what they are. So when I play it, and I just told him up front when he walked in, like that's what that is. But at the end of the day, for me, music for film it's storytelling through sound, and there's incredible musicians out there, like with crazy music knowledge, incredible on the spot intuition on chords and stuff.
But you're also good at that, dude. But shit that you come up with, and I've sat there. And I'm just sitting there smoking, going, "Fuck, this guy's so good."
Yeah, but
just come up with like amazing stuff.
Yeah, that's by ear, and it's because the visuals kind of prompt me what to do, and I think because I've been editing for so long, and I understand storytelling, and I understand like mood, themes, motives.
But you're also amazing at like sound design. I fucking love your
sound design. But that was the other point I wanted to make is you have these musicians that's like so knowledgeable, but then it's this incredible piece, but then it sounds like a MIDI piano.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't look good to the picture, even though it's a beautiful piece. If you just gave me that MIDI and I can like transcode it into like better instruments, better sounding instruments, it'll be great. And I think a lot to do with music composing especially for film, is about taste.
Yeah.
And about like what tone and what sound do you like, and I think that's the only reason I'm still going and doing okay. Like for that Sia doc, I also did the music for that with Diantis Mandisi. So, and again with that, it's just like, and that's now not a like sci-fi horror. That's like a documentary about a sports guy, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like the visuals tell me what to do. So
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I've seen it. I've listened to a lot of your work, and it's all very different as well.
yes,
So
yeah.
you know what I mean. So it's like, you know, when people listen to your music and the type of music that you normally DJ with and stuff like that, it's like, you know, there's that type of music, and then you've got this other completely, you know, you can do so many different styles, and like you said, from your ear and just listening, and it's like with that sound design of, because obviously you know over the years, I know you've told me, like, you know, sometimes you just record this and you record this and then you stretch it out and you reverse it and you put all these different things on it to create, you know, all these sounds. So obviously your library of music over the years that you've collected and stuff, you know, it's such a creative path. I don't know how you find all that stuff, or how you know, but again, it's you know, it's like what we're saying about playing guitar. You know, there's people that are amazing at playing guitar. They've locked themselves in that room for hours and hours and hours. And like the one guy that he was going to teach me some guitar, and he said, name a song. And at the time I was listening to metal, and I was like, Kill Switch Engage or whatever. And then he would just play the track, and I'm like, fuck, this guy's so good. I'm never going to be this good.
Yeah.
And I just like quit straight away, because I knew my time and energy was in something else. So, but again, it's, you know, it's like with you, you've spent, you know, so many hours and so many years just working on your craft and just becoming better and better, and knowing your shit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I know my shit. Honestly, I'm not technical. If something goes wrong with the software, I'm just on fucking YouTube for an hour to try and figure it out. Like, for me, honestly, it's all about taste. That's all it is. And like with like you said, with the experimental stuff, you know, when I'm like sitting there with a pipe and like trying to move the mic around the pipe to get like a pan and like a weird sound, then like probably like millions of people out there are doing that weird shit. But it's like that process selection after you've recorded and you listen to it and you're like, okay, that's not good, that's bit is good, and then I'm gonna do this to make it sound like that. That's what like separates taste. And that's the only thing I kind of have going for me is that, and again, understanding.
I think it was with one of the experimentals, I think it was Alien Dick, that one experimental we did, which was really funny. But I remember, I don't know if it was that or one of the other experimentals, but it was, you know, obviously you have all these layers, all these layers, and then I'm like, I fucking love everything, but there's that one sound that I don't like, or it feels too 70s or something like that. And then we have to try like look for it, because there's so many layers. And I was like, everything's fine. I just don't want that one sound. And that's it. So, which is good, Chris. You know, it's not bad.
Easy.
Easy.
It's always so easy with you. Can you take the one sound out? Can I have more? Make it more hectic.
And like, what's your like process? I know obviously my process with you, but also with the audience. Like, what's your process that you have, like working with a director, like from like start? If you know, if somebody comes to you and it's like, oh, we want music, like what's that process?
It depends if it's a series or a film, but like because with series I also use locations, but with film I first obviously I first sit with you, try and get a bit of a backstory if there is, and the mood and the story, and then I go and I write themes, and like with Fried Barry, like it was basically like Barry, so it was just a theme for Barry, and once you approve the theme, then for me it gets super easy, because then I just translate that theme into different emotions. and if a character has like a character arc, or like, you know, like progresses through the film, then like I'll have like the end piece. I'll first write that and then work my way towards that. And what else with you? I mean, with Fried Barry, I wrote a lot of the music from the script without seeing anything.
Yeah.
And then we kind of like, I would give you all these little bits of music, and then like you and the editor would like put it to the picture.
Yeah.
And then you would send it back and be like, oh, can you just tweak this? It's not like, you know, it's not building quick enough or whatever. And then you sent me that, and then I could almost like a lot of it, like there's actually quite a bit of it that I like remixed my own stuff, you know. And then otherwise I would just like, there was very few. I think it was like 2 or 3 scenes that I redid the music. Like that wasn't with like the palette of stuff that I gave you.
Have you ever like worked with, you know, as like a director ever sat down with you and you're about to show them what you've done and they're just like, this is not my vibe, or they want something different, or you're struggling to get like, because it's always that like communication. Like I think with us, we just got each other, and it just worked really well. But you know, have you ever sat with a director where you just like can't like connect properly to try and like, you know, him struggling to try and explain, you know, what he wants?
Well, I avoid that by first like giving him a draft for the theme, a draft for like the mood, and I give like a mood board. So I'll be like, these are like the sounds, here's the references. So by the time he gets to me, we can't get stuck because he knows exactly what I'm doing.
Okay.
So I always make sure, almost like in pre-production already, like script phase, that I can like just give him like a mood board. And then maybe from the mood board the director will be like, ooh, no, this is too dark, or you know, can it be a bit more melodic or more rhythmic or whatever, and then you go from there.
And then you said you wanted to get into music for like games and stuff. I like, how do you even get into that? I have no idea.
I'm not in it yet, so I don't know. I've been to a few game jams with a company called Free Lives, and they've made some epic games. They did Broforce and Gorn, and now recently Terranol, and they're just bringing out like 2 new games, and it's like doing super well. So I would go to game jams where you just sit with the developers, and then you just they make a game in 48 hours and you make the music for it. And then obviously that's like quite simplified, so it's only like a few stems that I give, so like drums and like say strings or synth or piano, whatever, and then they can like kind of build that into the game. But if you want to do like, I don't want to do AAA games, I want to do indie games. But if you're doing like a big indie game, their most recent indie game, that actually the musician gave them stems. He didn't, you know, he doesn't understand like the programming behind it, because you have like like almost like a middleman program called Wise, and there's another one, Fmod, and then it translates your stems into like functionality, you know, like if a character gets closer to danger, one stem will get louder or whatever. And the money that's going into games now is like, it's insane. It's the first time like in, I think it's like 20 years that the film industry is catching up to gaming now. Gaming used to be bigger than music and film put together, and now film is, if not overtaking games, gaining like.
I watched. I don't know if you've seen it yet. I watched Tetris. The movie How Tetris Started. Dude, that's fucking crazy how that shit went. Like, we're just like kids playing these games thinking, oh, this is amazing, and the blocks and whatever.
Yeah.
And then like, I didn't know that backstory. I watched it and I was like, dude, it's just a fucking game.
People are going to kill that.
Yeah. It's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, but it's like, it's the same as sports. Countries get very proud of their...
Yeah, I watched the Nike movie as well.
Air?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
That's really good. And it's crazy how, the deals get made and stuff like that. It's all, you must check that
And
out.
how one person can build one brand.
It's crazy. And you see, he sold that, because they made that, what is it, Nike Air Jordan, that shoe, and then he got, like, every one that was sold, he got, like, a percentage out of it, which is fucking, like, nuts.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they've ever done that again. I have no idea.
By a geld.
But, yeah.
Well, sure, I don't know, Kanye with Adidas.
Yeah.
Wasn't that, like, quite a...
But it was just, like, at the time, and the amount of money that he made, like, dude, I didn't even know that. I knew he would have been rich, but I didn't know the amount of money that he made from that.
But it's like Dre with the headphones as well.
Yeah.
It was like the wealthiest rapper, but it was because of those beats by Dre.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then talking about music with what about old school computer games? So I've got my little arcade machine there.
Yeah.
And it's got all the games from like the 70s and 80s and think till like 91. But it's got like 400 games on it. And it's you got Tetris on there, you got like Donkey Kong and all that, but it's like awesome. Like listen to all those like 80s sounds and beats
and like the music for those old games, it's so good. It's like the best pop music ever made because you're so limited with like the sound. It's all like MIDI and it was like on floppy disks, so you have like a few kilobytes of data that you must make a song with, and it's so catchy, like Super Mario Brothers.
I think I had a game. When I was a kid, I had a Game Boy, I had a Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, but I remember playing on like the arcade machines before I got like game consoles. But I remember like when I got I think it was, what is it, like NBA Jam or one of those basketball games, and I remember the graphics going, fuck, this is amazing. Like they're not gonna get better than this. This is like, this looks fucking real as fuck. Guys like bouncing the ball. I'm like, this is so crazy. And then like I remember like Mortal Kombat, and you look at that and you're like, fuck, graphics. It's like you're not gonna get better than this.
Love Mortal Kombat.
The process over the years, the progress, and it's just fucking insane how far we've come. But I guess like if we go back into the 50s. And if we could bring like Jurassic Park movie to the 50s and go, check out this film. Can you imagine what they look at and think and could be like fucking.
And also the storytelling in games are insane, dude. Like I don't know if you've played The Last of Us. Like they just made a series about the game.
Series,
and the story is just so good. Like literally, Dom, my fiance, like cried in the game.
Oh really?
When the one character dies, and we were playing
That's amazing though, isn't that? Like, that's fucking crazy.
So it's old now, but like not the big boobed Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider, but the new one. Where it's like more like a origin story, and like that game. Like we were playing it at my flat. This is now years ago when it came out, and then Tristan, one of my buddies, who's also a director. At the time, he came over and he's not a gamer, and he's like, "Oh, guys, you're playing games again," and then he stayed for like 6 hours because he was like, "This is like the best movie I've ever watched." Just watching the gameplay out because the script is so good and the story outline.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So that's what's for me exciting about games. It's like the story element.
Yeah. Anyway, dude, thank you so much for having you on. It's great to talk to you, and always a pleasure to talk to you. But thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. Fishies!